Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and our guest today is Jason Trager. He's the CEO and founder of Sustainabilist. He's a Berkeley PhD, and he's got some brilliant ideas for changing the world and making it better. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this one. The Your Mark on the World show is made possible by our sponsors, including Clean Energy Advisors.
Welcome to Your Mark on the World, bringing you another changemaker with champion of social good, Devin D. Thorpe.
Jason, welcome to the show.
Nice to be here, Devin.
Oh, we're thrilled to have you and appreciate you taking the time today. Listen, tell us what is Sustainabilist and how do you help people?
So Sustainabilist is my little boutique consultancy. It's also a political and economic philosophy. And so through our work at Sustainabilist, we help people out by solving issues related to sustainability, largely around data and quality, marketing and communications for companies in sustainability, and corporate social responsibility. As a political philosophy, it's the idea that whereas a capitalist, you're required to internalize profit and externalize or socialize losses. As a sustainabilist, you can still internalize profit, but you are required to internalize and minimize costs and externalities.
Excellent. Excellent philosophy. Now, Jason, one of the things that you and I talked about when we first met was some of the work that you're doing on quality control in the solar industry. Tell us a little bit about your work there and your thinking on the opportunities.
Yeah, so, let me back up just a little bit. So I did my PhD studying how to apply mass production methodologies and using quality control frameworks to applying that to energy efficiency in buildings. So sometime last year, I got involved with this project with the Institute for Building Safety and Technology to do data analysis on solar inspections. And largely in the field that we're in, what happens is that financiers of solar require that inspections are done and that those inspections can then be reported back to the financiers to ensure that it's meeting some minimum quality standard. But we have about 100 years of manufacturing experience that shows us that the way to achieve optimum results, the way that every single pen that looks exactly like this is you don't inspect every end product, you don't inspect every pen, you measure the process and control the process that produces the pen. The extruder or whatever vacuum former makes the parts is analogous to the contractors in the installation process of solar, which we can control and statistically measure just like that of a pen.
Going back in time, we did measure the pens or whatever else was coming off the assembly line as the measure of quality control. It's relatively new thinking. You're too young to remember. Old thinking. It's relatively new thinking that brought us this innovation. So how do you apply that to solar?
So one of the things that we do is we look at all the inspections that are done of these solar installations. And we say, okay, if say 10% of solar installations are inspected, let's look at each of the individual features. Let's say wire management. And let's run a statistical test on that wire management in much the same way that you would in a factory. And then let's chart it over time. And what we can do is using this concept known as control charts and another quality concept known as a Pareto chart is we can say, okay, these are our worst offending issues. And these other features are variable over time. Let's go and speak to the people who are installing it and find out what they're doing and see if maybe we need to standardize parts. Maybe we need to write a new instruction manual, but it comes back to the fact that it's the process and not the workers. And I'm going to say that a bunch of times. It's not the workers, it's the process.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it's a powerful observation that people realize that it isn't the people, right? It's not people making mistakes. It's a bad process, and that's a powerful insight. So, is your thinking that you apply this to rooftop solar projects, to utility scale projects, to solar manufacturing, all of the above? Where's your focus?
So we've been focused on rooftop solar, but there's no reason that it's not applicable to utility scale solar as well. It's very similar.
And what is the potential benefit?
So by our estimate, the cost of this comes in two forms. One is contractors going back to the site to fix things. And two is that there will be a failure down the road because some part wasn't installed, right? Which is more expensive than the contractor fixing it by definition. So by our calculation, there was $181 million left on the table by the solar industry in 2016, where contractors should have gone back and fixed things.
Wow. That's a lot of money left on the table.
It's around 7 cents a watt, which is roughly between 17 and 20% of the install and soft cost sections in the installation of solar.
Yeah, that's a big chunk of it. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Anything we can do to eliminate costs is going to translate into greater adoption of solar, right?
Yes. So, solar is already at grid parity in a bunch of states. And, at this point, we're squeezing tighter and tighter to get those costs down. And this is an important feature that where we move it to a mass production process. Right now, it's essentially artisan craft work.
Yeah, that is a fascinating insight, because as we move toward the practices of mass production, we can get more efficiency, lower cost, and draw more people into that network as those costs, and therefore the costs go down, returns go up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we can also link it back to the manufacturers. The statistical insights we derive from the site can be used to make lag bolts for solar racking that don't crack the roof beams as often, as an example. So instead of having to drill the right pilot hole, the lag beam is just designed better. Lag bolt's just designed better, as an example.
Yeah. What other things do you do for your clients at Sustainabilist?
Yeah, so Sustainabilist is, we like to say that we're a full services consulting firm, but we're just kind of snobby about who we work for. There are three principals. There's myself. I manage our data services, and so it's usually around quality control math for clients, either in energy efficiency and fault detection. We do marketing, and so we have a crackerjack team of marketeers and designers that will help you out in selling your sustainable product. We do then process innovation, help you kind of think about your business as well. And then we also have a corporate social responsibility arm where, if you want to move your business towards sustainability, which can increase your returns significantly as a note, then we'll help you out.
Fantastic. Well, you have already in your relatively young career done some amazing things. You've met some interesting people. Who do you look up to as a role model?
So my hero actually passed away this year, but his name was Art Rosenfeld, and he he was amazing. He was the California Energy Commissioner in the 90s, and was a proponent of white roofs, and he was the main reason we have all the policies that in California our per capita energy use since going back decades has been flat while the rest of the country has climbed.
Wow. That is a great contribution. Now, you obviously are a genius. You can do anything. Why have you chosen to do this?
I think two reasons. Looking back, it's always been obvious. I used to write essays in 7th grade about climate change. So there's that, but it matters, in a way that's deep and meaningful, and I enjoy life, right? And I hope that we can leave a planet for other people to enjoy, right? So in a way, it's preserving what we have. Also, I like polar bears.
I like polar bears too. Now, what is your superpower, Jason?
I'd say my main one is positive stubbornness. I've failed at a lot of things, and not for lack of succeeding at others, but I tend to just barrel through the failures, take the lessons, and continue on. Yeah.
That's great. That is a great power. Well, Jason, I really want to thank you for taking the time to be with us today. Before you go, take just a minute here and tell people how they can learn more about Sustainabilist, how they can connect with you personally and otherwise engage.
Yeah, so if you want to go to sustainabilist.com, that's sustainabilist.com. You can email me at jason@sustainabilist.com. And around this whole new quality initiative, we're spinning out a little startup called Rosetta Block, which will help people with machines and assets that want to be more efficient to communicate effectively.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Jason. We wish you every success in making the solar industry more efficient.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
All right, let's do some good. Clean Energy Advisors creates investment opportunities in the renewable energy sector that provide clients with predictable income, preservation of capital, and positive impact. Clean Energy Advisors is committed to providing clients with investment opportunities with both market rates of return and measurable impact.
Thank you for listening. This podcast was recorded via Google Hangouts on Air and is available at youtube.com/Devin Thorpe. Subscribe to this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes by searching for Your Mark on the World. Every weekday, Devin hosts a CEO, celebrity, entrepreneur, or other changemaker here on the Your Mark on the World show to inspire and prepare you to make your mark. Devin is a champion of social good, writing about, advocating for, and advising people who are doing good. He is a Forbes contributor who is a recognized thought leader in social entrepreneurship, impact investing, and crowdfunding. To book Devin as a speaker, visit devinthorpe.com. Learn more about Devin's work at yourmarkontheworld.com.